The Monsanto Corporation is known as the most evil corporation on earth. It was founded by John Francis Queenie, husband of Olga Mendez Monsanto. The company's first product was a poisonous chemical sold to Coca-Cola as a sweetener. Monsanto also engaged in the production of Agent Orange, a chemical used by the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, which caused cancer to hundreds of people, while several babies were and still are born with severe deformities. Monsanto has now moved on to the production of GMO seeds and is trying to pass a law called Monsanto's Law. The law permits breeders such as Monsanto to obtain property rights over the use of plant varieties of both plants and seeds. It makes it illegal for farmers to do the following: possess or exchange protected seed varieties without authorization, possess the harvest or save seeds for future use, and use the product of varieties essentially derived from the protected variety. Anyone who violates this law could face a prison term of 1 to 4 years and fines of up to $1,300. This in turn creates a monopoly for Monsanto as farmers are forced to buy these seeds year after year by no choice of their own.
¿Me puedes proveer tus datos personales?
Mi nombre es Sergio Samayoa, soy estudiante de Ingeniería Mecánica Industrial, tengo 26 años.
Esta entrevista es acerca de la ley Monsanto, como es llamada en Guatemala. ¿Conoces a alguien que sea agricultor?
Conozco a don Arturo Canté, que se dedica específicamente a la agricultura de maíz y frijol y a otras plantas de cierta época de años que no se cultivan en cualquier época.
¿Cómo afectaría la ley Monsanto a personas como Arturo Canté?
Esta ley los afecta de diferentes formas, pero principalmente porque guardan las semillas de fechas anteriores y no tienen la necesidad de comprar las semillas, porque de forma controlada evitan que las semillas germinen antes del tiempo. Al tener que comprar las semillas, muchas personas no tienen los recursos para esa inversión económica.
¿Cómo afecta o cómo afectaría la ley Monsanto a Guatemala en sí?
Muchas personas dependen de la agricultura, serían afectados por la compra de las semillas y los cambios climáticos. En ocasiones no llueve o llueve mucho y esto aumenta el riesgo de pérdidas por exceso de lluvia o escasez de agua. Se vería afectada su economía. Los agricultores aumentarían el precio de sus productos en la canasta básica al tener que comprar las semillas. Personas de escasos recursos que viven muy limitadas y comprar el maíz y frijol más caro en el país, que son los principales alimentos del país, no les alcanzaría para mantenerse. Y esto afectaría de muchas formas, porque estos productos afectarían a otros que dependen de estos.
¿Y cómo te afectaría personalmente?
Al subir los precios, lo que económicamente se gana no es lo suficiente para mantenerse. Esto produce un efecto en cadena, provocando que otros productos suban de precio.
Una última pregunta. ¿Cuál es la imagen que los guatemaltecos tienen sobre compañías grandes, así como es Monsanto?
Tienen una imagen negativa. Se ha sabido de otros países donde se han visto afectados. Han nacido sin brazos o con algún tipo de disfunción genética.
Ok, gracias por la información. Y es lamentable cómo compañías grandes, como lo es Monsanto, afectan a países pobres que están en proceso de desarrollo. Y otra vez, gracias por la información.
Guatemala is only one of many countries facing problems with Monsanto's involvement in the farming sector. Supporters of Monsanto claim that the rich country's oppositions against Monsanto is hurting the company's efforts to help developing countries that are facing hunger and food shortages. They say that hating on Monsanto is a luxury of rich countries because they are surrounded by numerous food alternatives. Contrary to beliefs that developing countries would appreciate help from Monsanto's breakthrough technology seeds, 7 African countries including Kenya, Ghana, Namibia, Nigeria, Senegal, Egypt, and South Africa recently held anti-Monsanto rallies. In the last 50 years, alternative methods such as micronutrient powders, basic healthcare services, and food storage technology have been successful in combating hunger and food shortages. As quoted from an article, hunger is not caused by food shortage but by a lack of purchasing power and or the inability of the rural poor to be self-sufficient. India has also garnered much attention with Indian cotton farmers supposedly committing suicide because of Monsanto's involvement in the country's seed sector. Seeds have become the intellectual property of Monsanto for which it collects royalties. Monsanto has converted seeds from a renewable resource to a non-renewable patented commodity. Indian farmers are supposedly resorting to suicide because of accumulating debt and as a result of high seed prices and failing seeds that do not produce the promised yield or that do not yield any crops at all. Although there have been claims that these suicide statistics are untrue, there is no doubt that there is widespread negative opinion about Monsanto around the world, including in areas where hunger and food shortage is a problem.
There are several reasons genetically modified products should be avoided. For starters, GMOs are unhealthy. Animal studies have shown organ damage, gastrointestinal and immune system disorders, accelerated aging, and infertility. GMOs increase the need to use herbicides, and as a result, genetically modified foods contain higher amounts of toxic herbicide residue. Genetically modified foods also work against feeding developing nations because they don't increase crop yields. Non-GMO agricultural methods used in developing countries have resulted in yield increases of 79% and higher. On average, GMOs do not increase farmers' yields at all. Many consumers are unaware of the dangers of genetically modified products because companies like Monsanto spend millions to lobby against mandatory labeling of products that contain GMOs.
How Monsanto relates to economic development is health and, in this case, farming. Now, when you look at what it means to be economically developed, you look at the core ideas of how a country promotes a good standard of living and a good economic health. So when you relate it back to Monsanto's and how that reflects and kind of collides with what it means to have a country economically developed, it takes away that aspect of taking away jobs from farmers and private industries where they're not able to support their family, not being able to have a good or healthy standard of living. As well as for health, when Monsanto's genetically modifies the foods and the seeds that are being used, you're taking away that aspect of what it means to be economically developed by having a good, healthy lifestyle. Because when you genetically modify the foods and the seeds, it can create altercations like pesticides or herbicides, where it can harm the people that are consuming those foods, which in essence diminishes their health.